All right, are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. The road to the World Cup 2027 continues today as Spain take on England. Now, England in a huge advantage heading into this fifth game in the group stage because a win or draw tonight will guarantee them a place at the 2027 Women's World Cup. They lead the way in Group 3 as it stands, Harry. And with the way that the head-to-head system works to determine who finishes ahead of who, England have a huge advantage going into tonight's game.
Yeah, exactly that. England, they've done the hard part and they've been rewarded for it. They come into this game with a bit of an upper hand in terms of getting that top spot. And we've spoken about it across the qualifying campaign. You want to top the group. You do not want to have the risk of having to go through the playoff system. Top the group, get to the World Cup automatically, and there's no problems whatsoever. The last thing that either of these two sides want to do is have to go through a bit more of a difficult playoff system. So England in a great position tonight to get through in top spot, but they've got to make it count. They need to deliver another strong performance against the reigning world champions and find a way to make sure they walk off the pitch tonight with a place on the plane to Brazil.
Yeah, it's really interesting how the new qualification format being tried by UEFA this year going into the World Cup has led to this situation where actually a lot of these qualification games, there's so much more on the line and it's a lot more difficult just to get through this stage.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that it's been a bit of a mixed response. Of course, a lot of people like to see that these. I think it is a positive as well that these qualifiers are a bit more competitive and they feel more like important matches than international friendlies. Exactly what we want to see. We want to see a competitive environment for the qualifiers. Equally, it can lead to some of the best sides being knocked out before we even get to the major tournament, which can be disappointing because that's when we want to see all the best players in the world on the main stage. So I think it's got its pros and cons, but for the action that we've seen in the qualifiers so far, it has definitely been more dramatic, more exciting, and a lot more competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. It's worth saying as well that England, of course, have already qualified for the playoffs. So even if they are to lose tonight and then end up losing in their game in the week, they will still go through the playoffs, which you would back them to get through that stage. But it's the unnecessary nature of those games that they don't really want to be involved in those. It's also worth saying that if England lose by 2 goals tonight, then it changes again and Spain have the upper hand, meaning that whatever happens, Spain just have to win on Tuesday night and they're through and England can't do anything about it. So even if they lose tonight, it's really important they don't lose by a significant margin. So that's going to be really important. It's also important they don't concede too many goals as goal difference across the head-to-head as well as the head-to-head record comes into play. So many things to think about in that effect. But it's going to be really interesting to see how England get on tonight. Only 1 goal conceded across the 4 group games so far. That was to Ukraine in the 6-1 win in the opener. So they've shown a defensive solidity, which I think is really important. And it's been such a core part of this England side and the success in major tournaments. That's going to be really important again tonight.
Yeah, exactly that. I think that England will go into tonight with a bit more of a reserved mindset, very similar to the performance they get at Wembley. They got an early goal through Lauren Hemp, and then were just sat back a little bit. And I mean, Hannah Hampton kind of did have to come up with some incredible saves in that game to get England across the line. But as you say, in all the other qualifiers, I think we've seen good performances, bar the game away at Iceland. That was a very, very poor performance from England. How they came away victorious from that, I still don't know. People who will remember that game, Hannah Hampton was forced into a series of saves and Iceland missed an open goal. But I think Jonsdottir put the ball onto the post with an open net in front of us. So England definitely rode their luck in that one. But apart from that game, they've looked incredibly strong across the qualification campaign and they need to find a similar level today. If they play like they did against Wembley, if they play like they did at Wembley in match week 1 against Spain, they've got a great chance of getting a result tonight. But as we know, it is very difficult to deliver that kind of high-level performance against such a strong opposition in Spain.
Yeah, I mean, they were comfortably the better side in that game, got the goal fairly early on into that match, and then just kind of shut the game down quite effectively. So if they can do that again today, or even shut it down from the start and just play for the draw, that could pay dividends for England. But equally, they just can't concede, they can't afford to lose. So arguably, going out there and getting a goal early on may be England's best play. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they approach this match, or if they go a little bit more reserved and try and shut this game down, try and make it a difficult one for Spain to win, or if they go out and try and win the game early on and put themselves in a stronger position. A few comments in the live chat coming in about the lineup. So let's dive into the team news ahead of this one. We'll start with Spain. We are, of course, in Spain for this game, in Mallorca to be more exact. And the Spain side is as follows. It's a 4-3-3 for Spain today. In goal, it's Catacoy. A back four of Onabatie, Paredes, Leon, and Lucia Corrales. In the midfield three, no Aitana Bonmati again for Spain. It's Mariona Caldente, Patrick Gallardo, and Alexia Putellas. Then on one wing, it's Vicky Lopez. On the other, Salma Paraluelo. And leading the line, Edna Imade. Some big calls in there and some big players being dropped in this game for Spain. Still a very strong team, but how much of an impact do those omissions have?
I think it could have quite a big impact. As you say, of course, it is still an incredibly strong Spain team, but if you're looking at this from an England point of view, you're looking at a Spain starting 11 that doesn't have Aitana Bonmati, that doesn't have Claudia Pina, that doesn't have Esther Gonzalez, Athenea as well is dropped out, Olga Carmona. They are key players that have been named in Spain starting 11s for the last couple of years. So for all of them to be dropped and benched tonight is a big call from Sonia Bermudez, and very intriguing to see how that pays off. A massive opportunity for Imade leading the line tonight. A big game for her. Obviously has been the backup striker really for Bayern Munich this season in the Frauen Bundesliga, but definitely a player that is very capable of delivering on the biggest stage. So a massive night for her, and she knows that her performance could be quite crucial with her physicality, could make it very difficult for the England defence. But yes, some big calls, some big players dropped, and I'm very intrigued to see which way that goes for Spain, whether it will work or whether it could be a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, I think they're brave calls, but I ultimately think they're all the right calls. When we think about all those players that have been dropped there, they're players that aren't in particularly great form. Esther Gonzalez has struggled for any sort of consistency in the NWSL this season. I think only 2 goals in 11 matches in the NWSL. Claudia Pina hasn't had a particularly strong campaign at Barcelona. And Aitana Bonmati's been injured for so long. And so I understand, obviously, a world-class player, Aitana Bonmati, maybe you rush her back in for this one. But I think by picking Edna Imade, who I think will fulfill a really important tactical function, because she's going to be physical up against Wu Moy and Morgan. And I think that's probably the best way to try and get moments, try and get opportunities. So I don't think either of them are particularly physical players. So that's going to be interesting whether Imade can get an advantage there. Yeah, I think in midfield you've still got the creativity of Caldente, of Putellas. It's not a massive drop down to those kind of players from a Bonmati. Of course, Bonmati, I think, is a level above, but they're still elite level players, world-class players. They're players that can have a similar impact. And I think in wide areas, with Vicky Lopez, you've got a very tricky, very dynamic forward player, and with Paraluelo, you've got someone who's going to break in behind and going to try and stretch that England back line. So particularly behind Lucy Bronze as well, I think there's going to be space there to exploit. As for the England side, they're alluded to Lucy Bronze. It is a 4-2-3-1 for England tonight. In goal, Hannah Hampton keeps her starting berth in the England squad. It's a back four then of Bronze, Woober, Moy, Morgan and Greenwood, with Leah Williamson ruled out through injury. In the midfield, it's a pivot of Walsh alongside Georgia Stanway, with Ella Toon playing in the 10. On one wing, Lauren Hemp. On the other, Lauren James. And leading the line, Alessia Russo. Barring Leah Williamson, is this England's strongest side?
I think so. It's definitely up there. I think that it's the majority of players that we've seen feature in the biggest games for England. But it's again another really strong England 11. As you say, I think that bar Williamson, the core spine is there, the ever-present pivot of Walsh and Stanway that has functioned incredibly well for the Lionesses. You've got Toon in the 10, you've got Russo leading the line, and Morgan, who has really become a very prominent player in the starting 11 over the last year or so. So yeah, it's definitely been I think the spine and the core of that England side has really started to develop, and it's exactly the same going into tonight. But overall, I think it's a really strong side. Couple of players in there who I think that perhaps haven't had the form at club level, but have definitely been delivering. Hannah Hampton for me is the main one. I think that, again, a bit of a question, of her starting role coming into this. But yeah, I think she's had some wobbles for Chelsea, but for England, this camp is in these qualifiers. She's been incredible. I mentioned the Spain game, mentioned the Iceland game, putting some player of the match performances in those games. So on the whole, incredibly strong England side. Very intrigued to see how well Ella Toone plays tonight. I think that obviously has only got a couple of appearances for United after she returned from injury, and because of United's form, and she didn't really get into the game. So I'm very intrigued to see what she can do this evening, back in an England shirt and against such a quality opposition.
You know what, H asked that question, saying, you guys think Kendall deserved to be dropped? I don't see why she has. I think Kendall's a really good player. I really rate Lucia Kendall quite highly, but I do think Ella Toone gives you a little bit more in there, more of a goal-scoring outlet. I think is a better presser than Lucia Kendall, better creator than Kendall, and I just think if you're looking for someone that's got that X factor, of course England have got players that can supply that. They've got Alessia Russo, they've got Lauren James, but I think not only can Toone bring that, but she also brings the best out of Russo. And so if you're trying to get someone in the attacking third to make something happen tonight, I think having Ella Toone up there is really important. Of course, I think a lot of the attacking burden may well fall to Lauren James, who we know you can trust to provide a moment of magic when you need it. So, going to be really interesting to see what England look like tonight. Both sets of players out onto the field, so get involved in the live chat and let us know your scoreline prediction. Just before that, though, loads of people getting involved in the live chat, which is great to see. Wolver Kitty went to the stream saying hi. Jeremy saying, I hope they do it. Not so confident, though. Yeah, I think it's obviously going to be an incredibly good game here. You've got, as Kevin says, the world champions against the European champions. Arguably the two strongest nations in the world right now. I think the US would have something to say about that, but definitely in terms of the European nations, incredibly strong teams. So I think it's going to be difficult to split the two sides. And with that said, let's get into predictions. We're going to start here in the studio, and you can get us started, Harry. What's your prediction as Spain host England?
Boy, it's always an incredibly hard game to predict, as you say. The results between these two sides have kind of flipped and flopped around, but the last couple going in England's favour, and I'm going to say for that to continue coming into tonight. I think the Lionesses have got what it takes to get the 3 points tonight and get themselves a ticket in the World Cup next year. I will go for, I think it'll be quite a cagey game, so I'm going to go for another 1-0 England win. I think it could be, in very similar fashion, an early goal through Lauren James, and then England just look to see the job through and claim the 3 points. I think that it's one of those games where, because of not only the strength in starting 11, but the strength in the whole squad for both sides, I look at the benches for both teams, and they've got players that can come on and maintain the standard. Spain's bench is probably slightly stronger, but then I'd argue that that's because their starting 11 is probably slightly weaker from the outset. So overall, they're pretty well balanced, and I don't see the standard dropping. So I'm going to say a very narrow 1-0 England win.
Yeah, fair enough. I think whatever the scoreline is, England just have to get it done.
Yeah.
Gotta get on the plane towards the World Cup and have that sealed tonight. So I'm going to say a 2-2 draw, and obviously that would be enough then for England to qualify for the World Cup. I think it will be a goal from Alessia Russo to open the scoring for England. I think then Spain will peg them back through Samuel Paraluelo. I think Spain are going to get a goal tonight. I can't see a way that we keep a clean sheet, unfortunately, because I think there's going to be space in behind the back line to exploit. I think Edna Romano is going to be a handful for the England centre-halves. There's a real opportunity that Spain will find a route to goal, and they've got the players off the bench and come on, have an impact, and find a goal if they're not. So I'm going to say Paraluelo then to level up the score. I think England will then peg one back through Lauren James. I think Spain will get a late equaliser around the 88th minute. It's going to create a nervy period after that, going into extra time, but I think England will ultimately see it out and draw the game at 2-2. A couple of predictions in the live chat show. Welcome to the stream. Says, come on England. Evening lads, looking dapper. Thank you. Says 2-1 England. Kevin saying Spain 2, Inglaterra 1. Fair enough. Going for Spain then. And the poll in chat at the moment, 52% England, 40% Spain. For a show that is English speaking and two guys wearing England shirts, there's still a strong amount of the audience that thinks Spain are going to win tonight.
Yeah, and understandably so. Of course, we know they're an incredibly strong side, and I think that they will be very keen to get one over England. Of course, the meeting at Wembley going in the Lionesses' favour, the Euros final last year going in England's favour once again. So Spain will be very keen to get one back on England tonight. And of course, with the ramifications that it has for qualification, if they could get themselves a good win this evening, then it puts them in pole position going into the last match week on Tuesday. But yeah, a massive night for both clubs. I think that both teams, it's one of those where for the majority of the, usually the internationals, you get there's opportunities for for certain players to impress. And we've got that for a couple of positions across the pitch for both sides. But on the whole, it is the best that both sides have to offer. And that sets us up for, perfectly for an incredibly competitive and high quality game.
Yeah, indeed. MZ going at 2-0 England as well then in the live chat. I think especially when we look back at that Wembley game and Bonmati wasn't even available, didn't even make the bench. Did Lauren James start that one? I can't remember now. I think she would have. It was April time, wasn't it? But still, was only just back to fitness there. So, yeah, it's going to, I think it's much closer to two full strength 11s. Of course, Spain having Bonmati on the bench is a bit of a downgrade, but equally, that midfield is so strong, they shouldn't miss her too much.
Yeah, and I mean, if the game's tight, then I think that Spain are in a great position. I think that's the problem that England have got to contend with tonight is that they'll probably look to shut it out, be quite reserved, and look to keep the game tight. But I don't like Spain won't mind if the game is 0-0, 1-1, with half an hour to go, because suddenly what's that you're drawing and you bring on Bonmati and Pina and Gonzalez, and suddenly your favourites to go and nick a winner, and then it's that's a completely different game. So, Spain, the quality of the bench is incredible. England, though, will hope to do it from the outset.
Well, we're underway here in Mallorca, and Marde knocks it back, and Spain get us started in this women's European qualifier for the 2027 Women's World Cup. An England win or a draw between the two sides tonight will see England book their spot on the plane to Brazil. But if Spain win, and by more than a 1-goal margin, then they will be the side going through most likely. Here is Mape Leon. Leon trying to play it in behind, cut out well by Lauren Hemp. Hemp trying to play it through to Alessia Russo, but it's won back by Irene Paredes, and all the way back to Kata Koi.
Yeah, expect England to be quite direct tonight. When they turn the ball over, they're going to look to move it quickly, and it'll either be direct or it'll be players like Lauren James trying to drive it through the team and get it out the pitch.
Kata Koi out to the right-hand side with Ona Battier. Battier into Caldente, and now Lopez. Lopez wants to drive inside. Tries to poke the pass forwards. It's cut out by Kira Walsh, though, and England back in possession. Esme Morgan immediately under pressure there from Edna Imade, but England holding on to the ball. Hannah Hampton here, miles from her goal, will lift it out towards the right-hand side. A difficult one for Lucy Bronze to deal with, but she does bring it down well, to be fair. Wubamoy with a bit of a strange pass there. Just panicked in possession and giving away the ball too easily.
Yeah, you can't do that too often. Just randomly drill a pass in the general direction of a midfield player, and Spain, easily turning the ball over.
Lopez looking to break down the right-hand side, squaring up now to Alex Green with a lovely combination between herself and Imade. Lauren James getting back in, doing the defensive work, though, and she wins back possession for England. Now trying to dribble out Lauren James, but not the room to do it there.
Yeah, and we've seen this a couple of times for England, is that Lauren James's defensive efforts are crucial. And again, it will be tonight. Spain looking to get Battier and Lopez running at Greenwood. So Lauren James is going to have to get back in and help out her England teammate.
It's why I always find the accusation that Lauren James is lazy or quite a selfish player is rather amusing, because I think there's so many examples, especially in a game like this, where we see her doing that defensive work to an exemplary standard. Caldente lifting it in towards the back post. Headed away well by Lucy Bronze. Greenwood can't get it far away enough. And Battier lifting it into the box. Headed away well, though, by Wubamoy. Rousseau trying to make it stick. Dispossessed by Caldente. And she gives it back to Kata Koi.
Yeah, Spain happy to be a little bit directer. Go, look to get those balls into the box because of Imade. And that's what she enables them to do, which could be a big tool going into tonight's game.
It also makes things difficult for England, because you think about the way that a lot of teams try and handle Spain, or how they have in the past, is that you don't allow them inside and you just want to push them wide, because their threat often comes in central areas with the very technically gifted midfielders. But you can't push them wide now as much, because they're going to put the ball in there, and Imade eventually is going to get on the end of one of these. Here is Walsh. Now to Esme Morgan. Knocks the ball down the line into James, and now to Greenwood. Back to Morgan. Hampton looking to the right-hand side, trying to make the ball move a little quicker now, but back to Wubamoy, and England will just slow possession down. Hampton looking to go long with it, trying to ping the ball in behind, looking for Lucy Bronze, headed away by Corrales. 2 now flicks on to Russo. Good use of the body from Alessia Russo. Here's Lauren James. Twisting and turning away out of trouble. Paredes trying to hold her back. James now slips it through, and Greenwood is in acres here, but I think she's gone too early. And indeed she has. And I think Alex Greenwood has got to do better to time the run there.
Yeah, comfortably offside. Little bit poor from Greenwood. Just didn't look along the line. And letting Spain off a little bit there, because if she times the run well there, I mean, yeah, miles.
Offside.
Absolute miles. Very easy one to give. Just doesn't pick up at all. But good start from England. And I think that direct ball, looking to get in behind Corrales, is going to be something that England look to exploit today. A big night for Lucia Corrales starting at left back, but I think certainly a player that England can look to target.
Yeah, indeed. I find it very interesting they use Corrales in that position. Obviously, they've traditionally used Olga Carmona, who I don't think is particularly strong. Obviously, bringing Corrales in there now. But you've got to think that with Battier being able to play there, that could be something they look to do. Stanway now trying to play it through to Alessia Russo. Battier standing her up. Russo back to James. James thought about the cross. Dummies it. Now lifts in the box. Blocked away by Battier. Now Alex Greenwood. Lauren James dropping the shoulder, but Imade getting back in and wins back the ball.
Yeah, again, early stages. Lauren James getting on the ball and just making things tick for England. Spain doing well there to limit her, but she's the player that is making things look the strongest.
Michelle saying, I'm ahead of you lads, I won't spoil. Yeah, you will be slightly ahead of our coverage if you're watching in England on terrestrial TV. If you want to pause it so you sync up with us, you're welcome to do so. If not, just try not to spoil it in the live chat for anyone just watching along with us. Here is Katakoi. Spain looks to play out quickly, and Putellas under immediate pressure there, but Patrick Guijardo clearing the ball away, choosing the safe option. And that was very risky there from Katakoi.
Yeah. I mean, she tried to play it quickly and just, I don't know, sometimes you can be a little bit too rushed on the ball. And she kind of just wanted to throw it quickly to anybody and left Putellas in a bit of bother.
Yeah, she was immediately swamped by about 5 England players there. Morgan with space to carry down the left-hand side. Now to James, who's dropped in. Will play it into Ella Toon, making her off the shoulder. Tries to go back to James, but it's picked off by Lopez. And now they could break in behind Spain. Imade, though, going too early. England executing the offside trap well there. They all just jumped up at the same time. And Imade left in an offside position.
Yeah, it's really strong. It's really strong, especially from Wooben Moy here, who realises that she's just dropped a little bit deeper than Morgan. She gets up quickly and, yeah, leaves Imade a good 3 or 4 yards offside. That's smart from Wooben Moy there.
Yeah, I love those ones where you can see the deliberate use of offside trap, where you can see Wooben Moyes looking along the line and then jumps higher to get Imade offside. James trying to play around, Toon trying to play around the corner there, misplaced though, and couldn't quite find Lauren James, so it's out for a Spain throw. Battier back to Paredes. Spain now building out, Leon. That's the wide option there of Lucia Corrales. I think she's just encouraging Corrales to go down the line. They know they can target bronze in behind tonight. Here's Putellas. Leon. Now Patrick Guijardo. Trying to clip it forwards and overhit really by Patrick. England just making it difficult for Spain to find those longer balls. And I guess playing that more direct style, it's not what Spain are used to. And we're seeing a little bit of a teething issue with that in the early stages.
Yeah, we kind of saw there were two different groups of players. You had the Spain backline and pivot with the England attackers who were pressing. Then a massive gap in the middle of the pitch.
Pressure, great press there from Toon. And it has gone for an England throw. That's brilliant work from Ella Toon.
Yeah, and I say that is exactly what Ella Toon gives you. Constant running, just puts the pressure on Corrales, and initially it doesn't look like she's going to get anything from it, but forces the error. That's exactly what we're talking about. Can England try and exploit Lucia Corrales tonight?
Bronze into Toon, and one back well by Paraluelo, who's going to carry the ball forwards now into Imade, who tries to let the ball roll across her, but it's really good defending from Wooben Moy, who stepped up and made the tackle. And now England in possession.
It's encouraging signs early doors that after 8 minutes, Imade hasn't been able to win a header or trap the ball once.
Yeah, I think Wooben Moy stepping up, being the aggressor, which I think is a role that very much suits her. And Esme Morgan is a bit more of a defender who likes to stand off the back line and assess the situation. I think sweeps up very nicely. Lopez driving forwards now, trying to find Paraluelo with the pass forwards, but it's overhit again.
Yeah, both sides, I think that not quite going through the gears yet in these early stages.
Well, it feels very much to me like watching the Champions League final again. We've got England who take the form of OL Lionesses in that they're playing this mid-block. They're forcing Spain to try and play over them. And Spain are playing very much like Barcelona did early on, where they're trying to go direct and not quite getting it right.
Yeah.
Eventually, the Lionesses defence cracked and Barcelona had a lot more joy in that game. But it's going to be interesting to see whether England's defence tires and loses its structure as quickly as Lionesses did. Here is Paredes. Cardente back to Paredes. Loke says, any thoughts on where Bate and Leon going? Now Bate not going to Arsenal. Has that been confirmed? I thought it was practically confirmed that Bate was an Arsenal player. And Mappé Leon, I think it's been all but confirmed that she will be at London City next season, which will be interesting. Here is Ona Battier. Into Lopez. Back to Battier. Now Paredes. Leon. Leon knocks it wide. Finding Corrales. Corrales lifting it into the box. Putellas was trying to head that towards goal, but just doesn't quite get the header right there, Alexia Putellas.
Yeah, a very difficult one to connect with. It wasn't a great ball in. And I think Putellas has done well to manage to make some contact with it. Very low from Corrales. Not too much on it. And yeah, Putellas, who had to run around Georgia Stanway, which I think actually made it a bit more difficult for her to time it well. And, well, wide in the end of the goal, but better from Spain down the left-hand side.
I think she's got to not look to head that. It's almost a cross into the feet there of Alexia Putellas. She's expecting it in the air, and that's why she seems to dive down to try and get it. I think she's got to just try and hit that on the volley. There's an opportunity there. Corrales' ball was a little bit short, but I think Putellas could have adjusted better. Here is Paredes. Paredes looking to go wide. Battier now creeping up the touchline. Inside to Lopez. Loves operating in the pocket here. Vicky Lopez. Nice footwork and drop of the shoulder. But Toon sticks with that. Battier. Into Lopez. Trying to break through. Lauren James does brilliantly to win back possession. Lays it back to Morgan, putting her under pressure. And Morgan clearing it away. And Lauren Hemp will pick up on the loose ball. Has Bronze in support. Bronze makes the deceiving run. Now Hemp finding her back towards Lauren Hemp. Lovely combination. Out for an England throw. And a little bit nervy there, but it's worked out quite well for England.
Yeah, it did. I think that, again, Lauren James taking that risk and, being rewarded for it in the end. Morgan did really well to get it out to the right-hand side quickly. And I think that's something that Esme Morgan is incredibly skilled at, is that composure. She already, before she gets, although it looks panicky to us, before she even gets the ball off James there, Morgan knows exactly where she's going to put it.
Yeah, indeed. People asking about Alexia Putellas' future as well in the live chat. Putellas has been linked with London City, also been linked with a number of NWSL clubs. I think they're really her only two options now. Apparently she rejected anyone who could be a rival of Barcelona, which rules out all of the big clubs really in England. So she could go to Man United. Here is Corrales inside to Putellas. Back to Mappé Leon. Want to lift it over the top there into Corrales. Gives it to Putellas. Putellas lifting it in there. Looking for Amado. Who's going to get there. Brilliant goalkeeper from Hannah Hampton. Came out big and brave and blocks Amade's header.
Yeah, it's huge from Hampton. And it's the first time that Morgan has let Amade get the wrong side of her. And as a defender there, to be honest, I'm surprised Morgan hasn't stuck a leg in it and allowed it to bounce and allowed it to run to Hampton. Whether there was a call or not, we'll never know. But I think Morgan's got to try and make contact with it. But it's the first time Amade's got the wrong side of it. And it's good goal, brave goaling from Hampton to get out and get in front of it.
Yeah, I don't think Morgan thought that Amade was as close as she was there. She seemed to be trying to see it back to Hannah Hampton. And I think almost there a bit of a defensive mishap. England playing well to the left-hand side. Loads of space for Alex Greenwood to attack into. And now James. The interesting thing about the way England are playing is that they're pushing both fullbacks on, which makes it really weird that you'd play Alex Greenwood in this game. And I know, obviously, it's not ideal they don't have Taylor Hines. I think as an attacking option, Hines is what England want in that kind of left back position, or the best option they have. Charles isn't really an attacking fullback either, but it does feel like if you're going to put Lauren James on the left wing and have Greenwood, you haven't really got someone on the left-hand side who's always going to hold the width. Poor pass out there from Hampton, who was short on options. Guiaro back to Leon.
England can't allow that to happen too many times tonight. They had the centre half, England centre half of the ball on the halfway line, and Spain managed to press them all the way back to the penalty area to where Hannah Hampton misplaced a pass. England cannot let that happen tonight.
Ball down the left-hand side. A lovely drop of the shoulder there from Corrales, who tries to lift it into the box. Ruben Moy gets in front of it and does enough there to clear the ball away and see off the danger. Leon playing into midfield. Guiaro with a lofted ball back towards Katakoy. Paredes will get there though, and Spain will build out again. Here is Guiaro trying to lift it over the top. Fantastic ball in behind. Paralluelo will chase it down and gets there, keeping it in play. Now wants to square up Lucy Bronze. Bronze trying to stand her up. Paralluelo lifting it in there. Wubermoy heads clear. Caldente's shot well wide of the goal.
Yeah, not quite the effort that Cante was looking for. We know she's got the ability to put that volley in the top corner, but what a ball that was from Guiardo. Superb lift over the top. Paralluelo puts a decent ball in. Wubermoy, the header it's a good header from the edge of the 6-yard box to get to the edge of the penalty area. And, we know Cante can find the top corner from there. That effort was disappointing.
The problem Spain are having is they need to invite England onto them more.
Mm.
There's not the space at the moment. You can see what they're trying to target, Paralluelo in behind Bronze. But if Bronze can get back in, Paralluelo isn't as much of a threat in 1v1s. She's not going to have as much joy having to take on Lucy Bronze. She loves running in clear air, but they've got to get England to press them higher to create space to attack into. At the moment, England is just happy to sit in their mid-block. And if the ball goes over the top, Bronze is getting back in time to be able to square up to Paralluelo.
Yeah.
Paralluelo there, just tripping Lucy Bronze. I think it will be an England free kick.
Yeah, Bronze done incredibly well there because the ball was sailing over both of them, but by jumping for it and getting blocked, Bronze has won England a good opportunity.
Yeah, Sonia Bermudez less than pleased at that decision. Ball down the line from Bronze into Hemp. Hemp lays it inside. A lovely give and go between herself and Toon. Hemp's going to get there. Corrales touching it out, and that will be an England corner. And a chance now to put Spain under some pressure.
Yeah, good recovery from Corrales because for a moment there, it looked like Lauren Hemp had got the wrong side of her and was going to burst past her, but still an England corner, and I think that's where the threat's going to come. If England can get Lauren Hemp in this game, running at Corrales and taking her on.
Yeah, indeed. So, Greenwood over this for England. Thinking about a short option here, and does play it short into Lauren James. Lopez standing with her, but James will get the ball into the box. Poor delivery. Falls to Walsh on the edge, who goes for goal and just gets under it there, Kira Walsh. Not a bad strike, but just over the bar.
Yeah, going to be critical, and I think she's got to do better. I think Kira Walsh will be very disappointed, almost clubs it a little bit. It's not a bad strike, as you say, but she just doesn't get hold of it the way she wants to, and I have to say, on the edge of the area, with the amount of time and space she had, I think she's got to go low and hard here. I think we've seen her score quite a few goals for Chelsea actually this season, or a couple of goals for Chelsea where he's fallen to on the edge and she's just drilled it low and hard into the bottom corner. I think that's what she should have gone for there.
Greenwood. Morgan back to Greenwood. Greenwood trying to go down the line. Cut out well by Caldente. Here is Battier. Yeah, Walsh has definitely added games to her game this year. Get to see it massively in an England shirt though. Here is Lopez. Wide into Corrales. Back to Lopez. Now shifting it to Mapi Leon. Caldente. Puteas trying to touch it on. Cut out by Morgan. And now Lauren James. Returning it to Hampton. Wubermoy. Wide now with Bronze. Option down the line. And tries to poke it there. Takes a touch off Vicky Lopez. Will be an England throw-in.
Yeah, pretty even, to be honest, in the first 17, 18 minutes. And I think that, both sides are pretty content with it. But from an England point of view, if the game plays out like this for the next 70 minutes, happy days, because neither side have really had a great chance to score.
Well, here comes Spain. It's Gallardo driving it forwards, taking from range, a nasty deflection. And as Harry says, neither side of the chance to score. Spain take the lead in this game, and Hampton delaying the restart somewhat here. But Spain take the lead. It's Spain 1, England 0. A big deflection there. Just seems to have wrong-footed Hampton. And Spain lead in this game.
Yeah, big goal. Put the kiss of death in it, didn't I there? Wow. It's, I tell you what, guys, does the right thing. she's got herself a bit of space and just has a go for goal. And I think it didn't quite see who it took a nick off there. But she just drives through the team completely. Steps like it's completely beaten. And the deflection. I mean, to be honest, I think even with the deflection, Hannah Hampton should do a lot better. Just completely flies by Stanway there. That's way too easy.
Stanway just jumps in unnecessarily. It sends it just too far away, really. That deflection off Greenwood. Hampton just can't scurry across her goal quick enough. I think she steps right there is the problem.
Yeah, but she almost looks too far forward. I'd like to get another look at that, but it almost looks like when she gets there, the ball's under her. And I just don't think she gets there late, but whether she's just too far off her line there and it's caught her out a little. I mean, was quite far out, but that is a very frustrating goal to concede from England's point of view. And it's too easy to allow Chiaro just to drive through midfield and let fly from there.
I think that's the biggest problem is that you've got a situation there where Patrick Chiaro's in so much space on the edge of the box. Georgia Stanway jumping in, if it's rash, and it created that space then. And a player of Chiaro's quality and calm just knocks it past her. Yeah. And there was so much space. England now. Greenwood delivering into the penalty area. Paredes making first contact and heading it away. Morgan trying to get there, but Paralluelo gets there first, and she'll drive forwards now. Sama Paralluelo. England trying to get back in. Paralluelo slowing down now and needs support. Lifts it into the area, cut out by Kira Walsh. And England's attacking set piece, they're turning into a Spain counter-attack. Russo with Batse on her back and just gets nudged off the ball there, Alessia Russo.
Wrong decision. Could have gone left there where she had two England players and could have played a simple 5-yard pass. Instead, tried to turn the other way into 3 Spain players and lost it. And again, decision-making is massive in this game. The last couple of minutes, Stanway steps up there, gets the decision wrong, costs England a goal. And that one there from Russo conceding possession.
Paralluelo trying to go down the line. James couldn't stop her ball in there. And Made heading towards goal. Comfortable claim for Hannah Hampton.
Yeah, England need to settle because Spain have just kicked into that goal, just kicked them into life, and it's got the home crowd up. And the next couple of the Lionesses just need to get through the next couple of minutes unscathed because the home side are really starting to come at them.
Yeah, Spain are really putting England under pressure now. It is worth saying a 1-0 win still leaves it in England's... A 1-0 defeat still leaves it in England's hands, as it will all come down to goal difference. So there is still an opportunity, if it's only 1-0, that it all goes down to the final match date. And of course, even if England lose heavily, but then Spain lose or draw in the last match and England win, it would all swap around. But in terms of that head-to-head, England can't allow themselves to lose by any more than 1-0. Spain forced backwards here. Here's Mappé-Leon. And across to Ona Battier.
And it feels like the one point that Serena of England have made tonight is do not concede any sloppy goals or needless goals. That one there is a needless goal. If Spain play through you and score a brilliant goal, fair enough. That's what they do. But to concede a goal like that, really poor from England and could be costly.
Yeah, I think England's midfield just looking a little anonymous at the moment. We saw Stanway jump up there. We haven't seen much good from Georgia Stanway and jumping up there and getting caught. We saw, I don't think Step Toon's been particularly in this game. Doesn't look 100% match fit at all. So, yeah, both players struggling a bit. Neil McCubbin saying similarly in the live chat.
Yeah, I think that, obviously, we're not going to see changes now, but definitely in that second half, you're looking at Blinkilde, you're looking at Kendall for a bit of energy, and to be honest, just a bit of composure. I think especially a Blinkilde, someone that will just come into this game and get a foot on the ball.
Yeah.
Because I don't think England have done too much wrong. The back four haven't really put a foot wrong. James, Hemp, they've looked lively, but the midfield three of just not getting into the game, and that's a problem again when you're playing against that Spanish midfield that has got Putellas and Chiaro.
Paralluelo driving the ball forwards again now for Spain. Lays it to Putellas. Now Caldente. Has a few runners around her. Here's Amade. Caldente again. Putellas on the edge. Space for the shot now from Alexia Putellas. And uncharacteristically poor there from Alexia Putellas.
I think that might be one of the worst shots I've seen Putellas take. And it's not like it's gone out the ground or anything. It just usually she gets that ball on the half turn, opens up her body onto her left foot, and wraps that in, curls that into the top corner. But well wide of the mark there from Alexia Putellas. But again, it's another nice move from Spain. It's encouraging, and they're putting England under more pressure.
Here's Ruben Moy. And now Walsh. Back to Lotte Ruben Moy. That's a poor control there from Ruben Moy. It's going to put England under pressure. Spain with a throw high at the pitch. Caldente, Corrales, Lopez, Caldente. I think so much has shifted for Spain since they've swapped their wingers around. With Lopez now coming in from the left and Paraluelo providing the width on the right, they just need to have a better balance there because Corrales is overlapping on the left-hand side and Bate can tuck in. Putellas trying to poke it forwards, cut out by Ruben Moy, and now they'll try and play direct England. Here's Alessia Russo, carrying towards the right-hand side, searching for support. She's going to be forced backwards here, and she's just covered a lot of distance there, Russo, but ended up going quite deep with the ball.
Yeah, didn't need to move. Just needed, need to move somewhat, but just need to stand there and hold it and wait for the options to come to her rather than dribbling off to the right and trying to find options herself.
Greenwood tries to play the pass. It's cut out. Putellas 1-on-1 with the keeper. And well, luckily for England, it's a straight shot and no issue for Hannah Hampton. But that's really poor from Greenwood, and Spain should have punished that mistake.
Yeah, errors are creeping in all over the place now. We've seen a couple of misplaced touches and stuff, but that's a really poor pass inside from Greenwood. And luckily for England, Putellas hasn't brought her shooting boots in the first 25 minutes here, because that's another effort that she should do a lot better with. And a big let-off for Greenwood.
Yeah, an England defence that I think have been a key part of why England have had so much success in this group stage. They've only conceded one goal for this game, but it's just been so poor defensively in the first 25 minutes.
I mean, that move sums up exactly the way the momentum's going. Bronze takes a throw. Toon miscontrols it completely, but to be fair, it was thrown at her shoulders. And then the ball bounces free for Lopez, who Bronze then takes out.
Yeah, to me it looks... I mean, Phil as well, welcome to the stream, saying this is so sloppy. I think what we're seeing is that these England players haven't played for a few weeks. You think, yes, anyone who played in the FA Cup final for Man City, of which England have one player or two players on the pitch with Hemp as well, as Alex Greenwood. But apart from that, none of the England players have played for 3 weeks. The Barcelona players, which is 90% of this Spain team, played in the Liga F last weekend and played in the Champions League final the weekend before that. So they do just look a lot sharper than the England side, who do just look like they haven't played football for a month, because they haven't.
Yeah, and World Sevens doesn't really count as football, a bit different.
No, not quite the same sort of sharpness. Here is Corrales. Into Lopez, back to Corrales and back to Lopez. And now with Leon. Happy to stand on the ball, and the roles have shifted in this game because Spain are happy to slow down for the moment. They do want to kick on and get a really important second goal in this game. They also recognise that they are in a healthy position now with their lead in this game. Lovely combination between Putellas and Lopez, but the pass from Putellas inside is cut out by Georgia Stanway.
England are second best in absolutely every department at the moment, and that is when that's against Spain, you're going to get hurt. Just, they're chasing shadows at the moment. You look at that combination there, and the midfield has just been absolutely played through.
Yeah, Corrales heading away. Stanway to Walsh. And now with Lucy Bronze. And James does well there to get away from Paraluelo. Pass out to the left-hand side with Greenwood. James dispossessed by Paraluelo. And England in trouble again here. Paraluelo. Poor pass into the area and Hampton winning it back.
Yeah, I'm not too sure where Lauren James is going there. I think that initially does really well. I was about to say, that was the first time that we saw her get on the ball in the last 5-10 minutes. And it was encouraging. She knocked it back out of Greenwood, but it just came back to her and she had nowhere to go and ended up just standing on it.
Hampton to Morgan. And now with Greenwood. Morgan. Back to Hannah Hampton. Just again, happy to calm things down. It has been very frantic for England, then tries to drill a pass out to the left-hand side that is nowhere near a teammate.
Yeah, I mean, again, you feel for Hampton in that situation because there's not many options on, but that's just nowhere near anybody. At the end of the day, you go direct and see if Russo can bring it down.
Just trying to find one of the wide players there. Again, it's a bit like watching Brian Sorenson's Everton side. There's just no one in build-up.
Yeah.
And all we're seeing is James dropping in to receive is the only way England at the moment are progressing the ball.
Mm.
And that's about 50-50 because she's also getting dispossessed.
Yeah.
Caldente now to Leon. Wide to Corrales. Step over from Corrales back to Putellas. Thought about lifting it through there to Caldente, but the pass wasn't quite on. Does now dink it into Mariona Caldente, Corrales, and now Lopez. Putellas pokes it through the lines. Corrales finds Battier. Corrales again. Trying to touch it wide. It's poor though, that from Lucia. Corrales is a bit of a let-off for England.
Yeah. The only reason these Spanish moves are breaking down is because of Spain getting the final ball wrong. You know, England aren't really doing too much to prevent them. I mean, that there is a simple 5-yard pass that Corrales gets wrong. There's nothing that England have done there.
Lovely play down the right-hand side. Has Hemp kept that in? Apparently not. I think that would have been close there with the touchline from our angle, but we are quite a distance away and the line though right on top of it.
Yeah, would have had a good view of that. I think Lauren Hemp's reaction tells that she didn't keep it in.
Yeah, one more frustration.
But England just...
Anything else? Corrales with the throw.
Can't get anything going at the moment. Look a little bit lost.
Yeah. Here is Mappé Leon. Katakoi. Plays to the left-hand side with Mappé Leon. Leon looking to progress. You've got to think Spain have got to try and find a second in the next 15 minutes because they've just been so dominant, really.
Yeah, I think being 1-0 down at half time, England will be pretty happy with the way this half is going.
Battier into Paralluelo, who'll carry the ball forwards here, tries to shift it inside. One back by Greenwood. And now Putellas. Into Corrales, who lets fly, blocked by Bronze. And now Mappé Leon. Into Corrales. Lifting it into the area, an easy claim for Hannah Hampton. No urgency really for England to get this ball moving.
No, I think that just happy to slow it down and kind of, if it's more that rather than slowing it down so they can get a foot on it, it's slowing it down just to take the pace out of Spain's game.
Hampton bouncing it off Walsh and back to Hannah Hampton. Morgan. Stanway into Greenwood. Morgan. And now Hampton. Great control from Hannah Hampton to keep it in. Walsh. Stanway. England playing forwards here and Stanway losing out. England's midfield just hasn't been able to find a way through Spain at all today.
Yeah.
Caldente there. Committing the foul will be an England free kick. She was all over the back there of Kira Walsh. Bermudez here is not happy at all. She's been quite vocal on the touchline, but I mean, Caldente is just holding Kira Walsh there.
Yeah, just catch her eventually. I mean, I'm not really sure how Bermudez is annoyed about the Hampton one on the touchline because she must have eagle eyes to see it from where she stood. But yeah, I mean, England, the pivot just can't get out. You know, it's like there's no other players beyond that point. You've got the back four, you've got the centre halves, Greenwood, and the pivot, and it just seems like England have got no one else on the pitch when they're trying to play out.
Yeah. Here is James bursting into the box, lifts it in there towards the back post, and someone in an England shirt has got to commit for that ball. Brilliant work from Lauren James. But I think Bronze and Hemp have got to react quicker there at the back post.
Yeah, quick free kick, just catches Spain out and gets Lauren James into a great position. It's a lovely dink ball over across the goal face, and it goes overhead of Katakol, and someone just needs to get a touch on it. And I mean, the fact that it is allowed to bounce within the Spanish 6-yard box and not be punished is a big let-off for Spain, and England do not do enough to score there.
Yeah, it's brilliant from Lauren James there. Just driving across Sonia Bermudez. She can't make the tackle. It's a bit too much of a risk to bring James down in the box. And she lets James go, and James in a great position, lifts it towards that back post. It's a great ball. Someone's got to get at the end of it.
Yeah.
Here is Putellas. And now Lopez. Leon. Goes back to Caldente. Putellas dispossessed too easy in there. Brilliant work from Lauren Hemp, who drives it forwards. Leon tries to foul her. A give and go, though, in England trying to play to the right-hand side, and it's overhit from Lauren Hemp towards Elatoon there. That was better. England playing out well. Leon just trying to commit the foul, and I think he's very lucky to get away with that.
Yeah, better from England, but the pass from Hemp has got to be better. Has to fine-tune there. It just bobbles out of play.
Corrales. Here is Vicky Lopez. Missed hit pass backwards, but it'll roll through to Mappy Leon. Leon. Lopez. Leon again. Back to Katakoi. Spain just inviting the England press. Back to Leon. Can she now find a pass forwards? Goes into Caldente. Caldente carrying to the left-hand side. A lovely pass inside from Putellas into Lopez, who'll drive the ball forward. Great chance here for Vicky Lopez. Just overplays it. Got to release the trigger there at some point, Vicky Lopez.
Yeah, she'll be disappointed. And I think that Wu Moy, if what was probably a bit fortunate, actually ended up being a brilliant bit of defending. She dives in, and I think she slips over a little bit, and it does well because it puts Lopez off. But to be honest, I think she's very lucky she doesn't bring her down there, because that was a little bit rash from Wu Moy and could have easily caught. I mean, she did make contact, but didn't really catch Lopez enough to bring her down. But then it didn't have to put Lopez off shooting, but that could have easily been a penalty.
I think Wu Moy's another who struggled a bit tonight. Dealt well with Amada in the opening stages, but since then, since Spain has just been playing in behind, she's really struggled. One back well in there by England. Similar to the Lionesses game, where if she's defending her penalty area, she can do quite well. But often when the game becomes quite transitional and teams looking to attack space in behind, just seems to get lost.
Yeah. And they've also shifted. Marley's more on the shoulder of Morgan, and because Lopez is cutting in from that side, Bronze is obviously nowhere to be seen. Shock. And it leaves Wu Moy in a bit of a spot of bother.
Well, Bronze also got to deal with the overlapping Corrales, and so then it becomes Wu Moy's job to deal with Lopez, who wants to come inside every time. And again, Lopez is just drifting into that space where no one's picking her up. She's the player impacting the game the most, I'd say, for Spain right now.
Yeah.
Leon. Putellas laying it off to Lopez. This time in the wide space, and Bronze will stick with her. Lopez plays inside into Amade. Caldente through the lines. Putellas gone too early there. No, she hasn't. Big save from Hampton, but it goes in anyway. And I thought Putellas had gone too early there, but apparently not. It's 2-0 Spain in this game. A lovely combination. And Putellas blasting it through the glove there of Hannah Hampton. A lovely combination down the left-hand side. Once again, Lopez at the heart of it all. And Alexa Putellas adding the finishing touch. Spain playing some lovely football. England in a really difficult spot now.
Yeah, I'd like to have another look at this one. But Caldente, it's a heavy touch that turns into a give and go between her and Amade. It's slotted through to Putellas, who had looked in an offside position. Be very interesting to get a replay. And Putellas has got a fire across goal, but Hannah Hampton again, I think, has got to do better. Yeah, no, Putellas is on.
Greenwood is just miles out of position.
Hannah Hampton's got to do a lot better. Has to do a lot better than that.
Yeah, tries to parry it up. It's just such a powerful strike here from Putellas that Hampton tries to parry it up and just parries it up and into the crossbar and into the back of the net.
Yeah, it's been coming. Spain fully deserve it. And England really need to wake up.
Yeah. Again, they're just pulled apart too easily. Defensively, it's been so weak tonight from England. I think Hampton could do better on both the goals, but equally, players shooting without any other opposition, they're always going to have the advantage in those kind of positions.
Midfield have been absolutely non-existent.
Yeah.
You look at both goals. First one, Stanway steps up and Guiara's got loads of space to run into and shoot. Second goal there, just get played through. And then Greenwood has got to be more disciplined there. And to be fair, that's the bottom line of it. Both goals have come from a lack of discipline. Stanway just rashly jumps up and gets nowhere near the ball. And I mean, with that one there, Greenwood just doesn't step up with the rest of the defensive line.
Back now with Katakoi. Looks to play direct into Paralluelo. Greenwood forcing her backwards. Here's Caldente. Trying to play through the lines, looking for an Abatier. And James as well, just to see it out.
England need half-time. Drastically need half-time. Cannot afford to concede again.
Indeed, England play to the left-hand side. Greenwood now with Morgan. And Amade there, fouling her, and it will be an England free kick.
Yeah, again, very strong press from Spain. And yeah, it's a foul. It's more of a shove there from Amade than a shoulder-to-shoulder. But again, this is better from England, a bit more direct into Russo, who's won a throw off Paredes. England haven't got Russo into this game.
No, I don't touch the ball.
I don't mind that. Go direct. Make, 9 times out of 10, how many times have we seen Paredes step up for Barcelona this season and just commit a foul on the striker on the halfway line? You do that, you get your team up the pitch, but also you take the pace out of the game.
Imade losing the physical battle there to Esme Morgan. Greenwood trying to play forwards, cut out by Patrick Guiaro. And now Paredes. And across to Leon. Thought was so sloppy. Greenwood was deeper than Aquaman. That was really poor. Putas should have been miles offside there. And instead, they can play the pass through to her, and she's one-on-one with Hannah Hampton. In a great position. Back now to Katakoi. Musso pressing. Koi playing long. Wuben Moy tries to step in there and win back possession. Eventually does so. Stanway trying to play through the lines. Another pass intercepted, but it does fall back to Kira Walsh. Bronze. Now Lauren Hemp wants to take on Corrales. Hemp playing down the line. Corrales makes the tackle out for an England corner.
England have got to get Lauren Hemp on the ball. That's where the threat's coming from. It's Hemp up against Corrales, and even though Corrales steps in and does well there to make the challenge, it's another corner, and it gives England an opportunity. That's where England are looking the most dangerous. It's Hemp up against Corrales, because you feel at this rate she's going to beat her at some point.
Corner again then for England. Greenwood over this. Looping it into the middle of the box. Headed away by Amade. And now Spain looking to break, and it's Lopez. It's another corner, resulting in a Spain attack immediately. Lopez trying to poke it through. Morgan with a crucial interception there. 2 Spain attackers, 1 England defender. Spain should have made them pay there.
Yeah, it's great positioning from Morgan, but in no world should she intercept that. Lopez should do a lot better to pick out her teammate. Morgan does well, of course, but 10 times out of 10, that ball should be going through. It's just, again, I mean, surely England have got to think about that routine of it. That you can't, no way can you put the ball in, it can be headed clear, and suddenly it's a 2-on-1.
Greenwood. Now Morgan back to Hampton. Finds Wuben Moy. Stanway. To Bronze, back to Wuben Moy. Hampton. Greenwood. Plays inside now to Toon. Comes across to receive with Countdown back. Greenwood. Here's Walsh. And Marde poking out of play and out for an England throw.
Yeah, again, just struggling England to get things going. Marde you said it in the build-up. Marde is going to hassle and cause a lot of problems for England tonight, and she's done exactly that. Just been absolutely everywhere, putting the centre half under pressure, putting the pivot under pressure, and forcing errors.
Pass inside now to Toon, and it's another misplaced pass from Ella Toon. who has been absolutely awful in the midfield for England tonight. Just doesn't look match sharp at all. Bronze gets turned inside out way too easy by Lopez. Pass across to Imade, who holds it up well, goes down in the box, and that is a pretty blatant dive there from Edna Imade. Bermudez can't believe it, but Imade has thrown herself on the floor there. Obviously not a penalty.
Yeah. Just tries her best, but again, Spain coming forwards.
Paraluelo overlapping to Lucy Bronze, and James seeing it out of play brilliantly. I just think that clip should be... If Chelsea do offer Bronze a new contract, I want that clip to be put in the replies to that announcement.
Yeah.
Constantly. Woeful from Lucy Bronze in that position. Edna Imade just throwing herself on the floor there.
Stanway sticks her leg out in her direction and Imade runs into it.
Doesn't necessarily even stick her leg out. She's just standing there.
Yeah. But yeah, Bronze got absolutely got tied in knots by Lopez running down the left-hand side there. Just that. It's ridiculous. I've never... It's like... I mean... I'm sure there's a brilliant freeze frame there if someone does clip it up of Bronze facing one way and Lopez just running the other.
I think it says a lot tonight that England's best defender has been Lauren James. And England's best attackers, they haven't had one. One shot so far, not on target for England in 45 minutes. Spain, for contrast, 9 shots, 3 on target. There'll be no additional time at the end of the first half. It's Spain 2, England 0 in Mallorca. Spain taking advantage in Group C as they look to qualify for the 2027 Women's World Cup. It's half time here. Spain 2, England 0.
Wow. Lot of work to do for England. A very disappointing first 45 minutes. And Spain are in complete control of this game now. Lot of work to do for Wiegman and her side in this half-time break because they just looked devoid of any ideas and never looked like hurting Spain at any point in that half. And that is not good enough for the reigning European champions. And it's gone from being, coming into this game, it was in England's hands to take top spot and to automatically qualify for the World Cup. Well, now it looks like they're going to have to go the hard way about it, either by digging in and finding a phenomenal second half or having to go through the playoff system, which isn't ideal. But we know England have got the quality to turn this game around. It's going to take something special from this point on to find 2 goals against this Spain side. But you can never rule out the Lionesses, although they're going to need a lot of play. Everyone is going to need to raise their game a little bit. And that's what it felt like. I think that in the opening stages, both sides were just at the same level. But as Spain went through the gears, England just didn't go with them. Spain got better and better as the half went on, and England just didn't improve at any point. And that's why Spain are 2 goals at the break, because at the end of the day, they dominated that first half.
Yeah, I mean, it's been one-way traffic. I think England have been well off the pace. I think a lot of it comes back to the fact that the players just don't look fit at all. They haven't played for ages because I think they've looked weak. The intensity for Spain's been much higher. They've been getting to every ball first. They've been stronger in every tackle. And there's been a real sloppiness about this England performance. You've got a few players on the pitch for England who perhaps haven't played much football recently. You've got a few players for England who've probably played too much football this season. And a few players, I guess, haven't played for a few weeks and just look, incredibly unfit, incredibly lacking in sharpness. In terms of, that sloppiness, pass accuracy is down at 80% for England tonight. Spain at 87%. And while possession in this game has been 52% to 47%, the way they've used possession, England have just been trying to build up quite a lot and not really been able to play out at all tonight. Spain are pressing high and turning the ball over. Spain have mainly had the ball in England's half, and they have absolutely dominated this match so far. Successful final third passes, just 24 for England, 62 for Spain. They have, been all over England really in this game so far. Touched inside the opposition box. England just 1, Spain 18. It has been dominant so far from Spain in this game. Yeah,
incredibly strong. They say they've been in charge of this one, but actually, what's pretty scary is that I think there's a bit of an argument to say that Spain haven't. This isn't Spain's complete best, and that is a big concern for England, especially if the likes of Bonmati are to be introduced in the second half. So, outclassed across the board from England, and I think that, as you say, it's a bit of a weird mix of players looking too tired and players not being up to match sharpness, and it's all come together to be a very poor performance. I think that England, all the skills and characteristics that won England the game back a few months ago at Wembley have completely fallen away. I mentioned it in that first half, but for me, the big one is the discipline of the England 11. In that game at Wembley, no one put a foot wrong. Everyone pressed together, they dropped together, it was a well-oiled machine, no one stepped out of line, everyone moved as a team. In this one, I mean, both goals, perfect examples of it. Stanway steps up very rashly, gets nowhere near the ball, and Gayoro runs into space and scores. And then the second goal, Greenwood doesn't step up with the rest of the defence and plays Putellas on side. Both the goals, just a lack of discipline from both those players in the situation. I think we've seen that at times as well. Players diving in, players stepping up, or just a bit of a lack of organisation. And England look like they're really missing a bit of leadership on that pitch, which is very rare to say with the amount of experience that is on the pitch tonight for the Lionesses. But yeah,
I guess you say experience, but equally you look at this squad. Neither of the centre backs have been starting England players for particularly long. Alex Greenwood has, and I know she was at the last major tournament, but ahead of that didn't play loads didn't start loads for England under Serena Wiegman. Lucy Bronze is experienced, of course. She's been at every tournament since the dawn of time and will continue playing at every tournament until the end of time. But you look at the midfield tonight, and it should be a lot better. You should have a lot more experience in there, but they've been the players making the mistakes. And yeah, I don't know how much leadership there is now. Who is the vocal player in this England team? Because that Williamson is the captain, obviously, is usually a very vocal player. You'd expect that to be maybe Lucy Bronze, maybe Kira Walsh to step up. Neither of those are particularly vocal players, I would say.
Yeah, and I think that also it's one of those where you need a vocal leader, but you also need, it's almost a bit of calm. Someone just needs to get everyone in and just I mean, you look at that after the second goal, they kind of huddle round, but it's not really. It's everyone just stood there with their hands on their hips, kind of going, "Oh, well, what's going on here?" Someone just needs to get everyone in and just go, right, relax, get a foot on the ball, calm it down, and just take the pace out of the game. Because there's been a lot of, it's not necessarily laziness, but there's been a lot of poking and prodding around, and that's part of that's the majority of why the passes have been misplaced and a bit dodgy, because they're half-hearted. If you're going to play a pass, mean it. Back yourself to make the pass. Don't play it. A soft tap to your teammate. It's not good enough. And Spain are going to take advantage of that when you're under pressure. Spain, of course, brilliant pressers, but England at the top of their level could zip the ball about and play through it. But at the moment, they're getting stuck because they can't. They're not getting the ball down and moving it in the way we know they can. And yeah, someone just needs to get England in there. And whether that's a personnel change, I think could you look at someone like a Blinkilder who will just come in, get a foot on the ball, and look to make and just look to tick things over potentially.
It's a massive game to bring her into, a player with 4 senior England appearances.
But you've got to make a point.
I agree. I just think it's a big. I'd bring Kendall because she played the game earlier in the season.
Yeah, and maybe go Kendall for 2 and just bring because at the moment England's only option is to go direct to not even direct to Russo, is get the wingers involved.
Russo that's an option. They keep getting the ball and just get it back to Spain.
Yeah, but I mean Russo and Toon haven't touched the ball, and that's not good enough. Because it means that England haven't got a single kind of forward. They haven't got a single option in the central area to play to.
Yeah, I think we've seen Hemp and James both have a bit of joy down the wings, but we've not really seen them get into those positions enough. And yeah, Alyssa Russo's been fairly anonymous really in this game so far. I think there's got to be a change in midfield. I've watched back that Gayoro goal and I could completely ignore the fact that it was Lucy Bronze driving into... She tried to take on 4 players at once. It was like a carbon copy of the goal in the 2023 Women's World Cup final. She just drives inside, loses it, and then suddenly there's a player breaking away. Stanway's got to do so much better though. But yeah, it's just been incredibly sloppy from England. And yeah, really disappointing because I think we've watched a lot of the England games in this group stage where actually they've played quite well. This has been sloppy and the players just aren't sinking as they often would. I think the other thing to mention is obviously they're lacking that leadership, and you've got to question why Maya Letitia has been used only as a right back. Because without Williamson, you need Letitia in there at centre half. You need a leader. You need someone who's going to take that captain's armband, like she does for United, and lead the team. You've got a very quiet backline, and I can't help but feel, and a very quiet midfield. So I can't help but feel that a backline and midfield who are very quiet, look very nervous out there, especially on away soil. You need someone who's going to be confident. You need someone who's going to talk. And I think you need someone like my Letitia on there.
And I think that what Letitia or someone similar will give England is a bit of bite as well. Someone needs to go in there. And again, I'm not saying smash into people and be aggressive, but
Cheers, Roy Keane.
Yeah, no. But Letitia comes on, and if that ball comes over the top, she's giving Amade a nudge. She's not just going to challenge her fairly and allow herself to get out jumped. She's going to get stuck in and just giving. I think that's what England. Someone needs to. As I'm not saying clatter into people, but someone needs to go in and put a challenge in. Too many. Spain are being allowed just to glide past players. Get stuck into the game. Don't dangle a leg, because that's how you give away free kicks, and that's how you injure yourself and you get caught out. Get stuck in, give it 110%, and you won't foul them. You'll win the ball back, because that's how that's why you have to give it 110%. England need to get stuck into this game, really stuck into it, because at the moment I think it's pretty fair to say they've been passengers, and when you're passengers against Spain, I mean, you might as well go home at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think as well, someone like Lucia Kendall, I think Kendall for Toon's an easy change, and I think Kendall's going to bring more energy into midfield, going to bring a little bit of that bite you're talking about, just because that intensity is going to be higher. There's a bit more eagerness there. And while she might jump up, you've got to tell Georgia Stanway not to just jump up onto players, because she's playing an in-midfield pivot. So Walsh had already gone out to the right to try and deal with someone. Stanway's got to be more reserved. She can't jump in. There's absolutely no justification for her to jump in on Guiaro like that. She was never going to get to the ball first. And all she did there was invite Guiaro to knock it past her. It's so poor from Georgia Stanway. So yeah, that's got to be a lot better. H saying England's still relying on Lair, who even us Arsenal fans can't rely on to be fit. That's the problem when you've kind of shoehorned Letitia into being this backup England right back, is that then there's no trust to put her in at centre half, despite the fact that she is by far and away England's second best centre half. I'd say William's still the best when she's fit, but she's fit so few of the England games now and so unreliably. I think you've got to start prioritising Letitia playing in that central position, but instead, you're looking at a backline, a centre-half partnership tonight of Morgan and Moy have done well in certain games in the group stage, but in this game have been really poor.
Yeah, and I think also, at the end of the day, I mean, I know we haven't got a national tournament until next year, but these are qualifiers, these are important, and would we go to a tournament and would Ruben Moy start? No. But if Letitia was used as a centre-half, would she go to the World Cup and start? Absolutely, because of the quality that she's got. So I think yeah, it's a bit of a bizarre one, and I think that we know Wiegman does very much like to stick to the kind of same, 12, 13 players that she just cycles through every single big international. But I think, look at this game. Nothing to lose now for England. You're 2-0 down. The damage is done. As it stands, it's advantage Spain to top the group. So England have got nothing to lose in the second half. I mean, also, I know they could concede a few more, and it then gets even more improbable that they could turn it around in the last match week. But at this point, anyway, you're relying on Spain to lose, which
isn't going to happen. You've got to go out to score 2 goals. You scored 2 goals, you're through.
Yeah,
that's all England have to do for the second half.
That's where they got to look at it.
Sounds simple, right?
Yeah, no, so easy. 45 minutes, you've just been outclassed, but go out there and find 2 goals. But I think Wiegman has got to look at the bench, and there are players on that football pitch that have had phenomenal on that subs bench that have had phenomenal seasons and that have got a lot of talent to offer. And I think she's got to trust them. Bring Kendall on. Potentially go for Letitia as well in the back line. Look to your attackers earlier than usual. Don't wait until 70 minutes where it's still 2-0. Make those changes early. Trust the more squad players to come on and make the difference. And you've got to give them those opportunities. And I think that at the end of the day, yes, that on paper it would weaken the team, but right now nothing could be worse than the 45 minutes that we've just watched.
Yeah, Wayward Win says could be 4-6-0 for Spain. I'm not sure where they've come up with that. Spain haven't even had 4 shots on target in this game. I think Spain have done really well with the chances they've had. I actually think that while Spain have been very dominant, outside of the 2 goals they scored, they didn't have anything clear cut. It's not like they keep getting in behind and they're just not taking their chances. England have defended well outside of those moments. It's in possession where England's defence is struggling more, and for those 2 goals, of course, where they just switch off. Greenwood for the second one, where she's just dropped too far off her line and just allowed their Putellas to be onside. where she definitely shouldn't be, and then no one stepping up. It comes out more to the midfield on the Giaro goal. No one stepping up and putting her under any pressure, allowing her just to let fly, and takes a wicked deflection as well off of Alex Greenwood. But yeah, I think that there's got to be a change, at least one personnel change at half time. I don't think you can look at that performance 2-0 down in this sort of do or die game and say that that's anywhere near good enough. So yeah, I think there's got to be changes there for England.
Yeah, very intrigued how they approach it now. I think that will we see that kind of nothing to lose attitude and England just go for the game and try and get into it, or are they still going to be a little bit reserved? I'm very intrigued to see what they do. But yeah, we need to see personnel changes because that 11 was not good enough, and it's not an 11. It wasn't a performance where you go, oh, it's all right. That 11 could raise it in the second half. That won't be enough. You need players to bring more energy into inject a bit more into this game.
Yeah, in terms of some of the other live games, then Denmark earlier today have all but confirmed their qualification. They need a point in their last game after beating Sweden 2-1. They'll be the first European side to qualify. Ireland currently drawing with the Netherlands. Netherlands have just pulled level in that one. That game being a draw, though, is helping France massively, who, despite being pretty poor early in the competition, are putting themselves into a better position. Germany 2-0 up against Norway. That would see them through as it stands. And as for Portugal, who are top of League B, which obviously is important for the next round. They can't go through automatically, but them and Finland now are all but qualified for, or have qualified for the playoffs.
No changes for England at half-time.
It's a big call, massive call, because the players out there have got to change something. It's just they've been miles off the standard so far, and you'd think there'd be at least one personnel change to make that point to the players, but there we go. What can England's 11 change in this second half? Because we're not seeing any changes from the bench just yet. Can they offer Spain more of a threat? 2 knocks it back, run away for the second half here in Mallorca. Spain taking on England. Spain leading by 2-0 as it stands. They would be all but through. But if England can get back level or in a position where they're winning, they would progress tonight. Obviously, if Spain win, they've still got to do the business in the game against Iceland on Tuesday. If England draw or win, though, then it is sealed. So Spain building out here from this goal kick with Maffei-Leon. Back to Katakoi. And now Giaro round back to Caldente, who plays it into Katakoi. England pressing with a bit more intensity potentially here. Corrales. Bronze has stepped up. Here is Lopez. Back round the corner into Corrales. Bronze lets her go as Corrales runs across and now plays it into Amade. Ball in from Amade, looking for Paralluelo. Blocked by Greenwood. Paralluelo seemed to pull her back there. Here's Amade. Lopez. Getting back in and forcing her backwards. Here's Corrales. Wide into Lopez. Wants to take on Bronze. Lovely footwork. Gets away from Bronze. Lifts it into the box and a comfortable claim there for Hannah Hampton.
I mean, how easy was that? 3 passes and Spain went from their own penalty area to Amade running down the left-hand side, putting the ball in towards Paralluelo.
Everything's coming down the left-hand side.
Yeah.
And running against England's right-hand side. I can't say I'm even remotely surprised. We said it in the build-up. We thought they'd try and target it with Paralluelo. They've actually tried to target it with Corrales and Lopez by doubling up on Lucy Bronze. They've just made life impossible for England's right-back, who has been caught so many times in this game. Maffei-Leon. Now Putellas, Leon. Caldente, bouncing it back into Leon. Caldente again, into Maffei-Leon. They'll carry it into midfield now, shifting it wide. Here's Vicky Lopez. Plays inside to Leon. Lopez has the option there of Corrales down the line, but I think she was trying to say to Corrales that she'd gone offside there. Putellas poking it through the lines. Here's Gallardo. Blocked by Ruben Moy. Not cleared though. Lopez now on the edge of the box. Wants to take on Walsh. Shifts it wide, but Hemp getting back in makes the tackle up against Corrales. Corrales then running it out of play, but it's given as a free kick there for Spain. And the referee running in there. And that is a bit of a silly one there between Hemp and Corrales. Not sure there was anything in that at all.
No one complained about that one. And I think the referee's just got to understand the situation there. At the end of
That was
that,
a crowd call. None of the
Yeah.
players on the pitch seem
No.
to think that's a free kick.
Corrales is happy just to try and, just to get up and get on with it. Bit of a weird one, that.
Spain now with a free kick. And Mapeleon and Lopez, the players over this. What can either muster up from this set piece? Leon lifting it into the area, head away well by Lucy Bronze, and now Onabatie. Here's Corrales. Leon down the line into Lopez. Wants to take on Hemp now. Goes to the inside, back outside, puts it into the area, cleared away by England, and soon flicking it on, but no one. England with so many players deep there, no one to really play it forwards to.
To be honest, England didn't change anything, and nothing's changed in the game. But at the end of the day, what do you expect when you don't when you don't adjust?
Lopez wants to take on
Oh,
Bronze, turns her inside, her out. Still going Lopez, but Greenwood stepping in well and making the tackle. And now Stanway trying to find Ella too. Trying to find Lauren Hemp, sorry. On back by Corrales.
That's the second time this game where Vicky Lopez has put Bronze in a position where Lopez is going one way and Bronze is looking the complete opposite direction. It's got twisting all over the place.
Caldente trying to slip it in behind. Bronze will get there and gives it back to Hampton.
This is good to see though from Vicky Lopez. Very enjoyable. It's shame it's against England, but it's these are the kind of performances that Vicky Lopez can deliver, and it's a joy to watch.
Yeah, she was speaking in the week, Vicky Lopez, about why players would want to. She was asked about obviously the rumour of a lot of Barcelona players, a lot of Spanish players moving to the WSL, and it did intrigue me because she was saying that she'd love to stay in Spain because the weather and the food is so much better, but the conditions and the pay in England is so much higher, and she can see why players are moving over there. One player I'd absolutely love to see in the WSL one day, Vicky Lopez. Here's Leon. Knocks it wide into Lopez. Up against Bronze. Goes back to Caldente. Bronze did well to stand her up. Now Leon. Lopez drifting inside. Leon again. Caldente. Back to Mape Leon. Leon lifting it in towards the back post. Paraluelo will get there. And, well, not really sure how she sent her shot backwards there. But almost a clearance from Selma Paraluelo.
A great ball in from Leon because she's allowed to stop the ball dead and turn it into a set piece almost. Whips it in brilliantly, and Paraluelo's made the run behind Greenwood well, and instead the shot ended up going backwards. I'm not really sure how she managed to do.
Caldente now into Guiaro. And across to Leon. Now Caldente under pressure. Hemp almost there. Picking up on the ball. Caldente just about doing enough to squeeze the pass back to Leon. Who's in possession now. Puteas around the corner. With Moy. Into Hemp. And now Bronze. Clipping it out of play.
I think Spain will be very happy with the position they're in at the moment.
Not much has changed at all for England. They're looking just as precarious a position. The same players we highlighted that were struggling in the first half are struggling in the second half. It's just as negative. It just feels like England are sleepwalking to a pretty poor defeat here.
Yeah. I mean, it's the most comfortable 2-0 lead I think I've ever seen. Well, at least this season. That's Spain. They're like, to be 2-0 up and face zero adversity whatsoever is an incredible position to be in.
Jorge says Serena is the Skinner of the national team. I cannot think of a single way to compare Mark Skinner and Serena Wiegmann and their situations. Not one. Two-time European Championship winner with England. Won the Euros with Netherlands as well. Two-time World Cup finalist. In the last 5 major international tournaments from a Eurocentric point of view, Serena Wiegmann has been there as a manager. Moxkin's not been in the last 5 Champions League finals, has he?
Couple of League Cups and FA
Bizarre
Cup win.
comparison there.
Equally, I think his highlight was dressing up as Bad Bunny.
Yeah, Serena hasn't done that,
So maybe
who's
not
really winning? Moving White into Lauren Hemp, who dances inside now, switching the play, and finds Lauren James. Ball into the area from James, headed away by Leon. Morgan, Toon, opening up with a shot, dispatches and almost into the back of the net. Let's Fly just couldn't quite find the target, just wide there from out of Toon.
Who knows it's Stanway on the edge? I think he might have been Stanway. Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Stanway. But not a bad effort. Better from England. But again, it was Hemp and James that are making things happen. They look like the only two players who got to win this football game.
But this is why it's so important that a player jumps up on the edge of the box. Because the way that Paredes jumps up there, it forces Stanway to shoot around her, and that's why she doesn't hit the target. And so you look back at the Chiara one, no one jumps up.
Yeah.
She's got a clean shot at goal. I mean, obviously she hits it in straight at the goal and scores. But there, Paredes just jumping up makes it impossible.
How has Katakara been allowed to drill a ball along the floor from her penalty area to the halfway line and not a single player has managed to jump in front of it?
Corrales back now to Leon. Now Guiaro. Trying to switch the play. Oh, Paraguay does really well there to keep it in. Looked like it had gone. Now wants to take on Greenwood. Goes back to Battier. Caldente. Paraluelo. And a shot pass down the right-hand side now. Battier somehow keeps it alive. James slips. Here's Putellas. Off the line from England. Turns home. And England should have dealt with that one. It's Spain 3. England 0 now. Alexa Putellas adding another in this game. And England just haven't changed enough in the first half. This is so poor in their own 6-yard box. Someone just got to clear the ball away. And Spain just about getting it over the line in the end. It's Spain 3, England 0.
Wow. I mean, again, it's a good move from Spain. But how is Alexa Putellas allowed to... initially, how is she allowed to just bring this down in the penalty area, take a touch, trap it, and get a shot on goal? Bronze does well to flick it on goal, but it hits the post, goes through, was it the legs of Greenwood there? Oh,
stick out of play.
Oh dear.
It's so poor for Alex Greenwood. Bronze does well here to scoop this off the line, even if she does send it backwards.
Greenwood gets done by the post.
She's just got to get out of play. She tried to shield it. Has no idea where Putellas is, who just sneaks in there and puts it into an empty net. So weak again for England defensively. It's a bit unfortunate because of the way that Lauren James slipped. She would have got back in and dealt with Battier if she hadn't slipped there off the pitch. But, yeah, Bronze scooping it backwards on the line.
I mean,
and then Greenwood's got to just put it out of play.
Yeah. The initial shot, though, Putellas is on the stretch, stops it dead with her left foot, and then has the time to run onto it with her right foot and get a shot away. And no one gets anywhere near it.
Yeah.
Very frustrating.
Guiaro. Now, Mappy Leon. Guiaro. Lifting it over the top. Lovely reverse ball into Battier. James gets back in, though, makes a challenge. Out for a Spain corner.
I can't understand how everyone on that England bench has looked at this 56 minutes and gone, happy days. Let's just let the same 11 players keep doing what they're doing. Because if England don't change something quickly, this is going to get really silly. Because Spain aren't letting up and England aren't fighting. They've got to bring other players into this game.
And the problem is that with every goal Spain score, it just makes England's task on Tuesday even more impossible. If Spain win 1-0 as it stands against Iceland, England have to beat Ukraine 8-0. Even then, they wouldn't go through. Cleared away by Bronze. But no, if Spain win even 1-0, it doesn't matter now because of Spain's advantage on head-to-head. The only way England go through is if Spain draw or lose to Iceland. Or they score 3 goals in the last 33 minutes. Now, not sure which is more unrealistic at this point.
Both will be miracles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just wow. I mean, look at the quality on that England bench. Got to bring players on. I can't wait to see Chloe Kelly and Beth Mead come on. For Lauren James and Lauren Hemp, who have been the 2 best England players on the pitch.
Here is Leon.
Just
now to Caldente.
This is, and England will be frustrated. Marde, that's well wide of the mark, but they did the hard part. They won the first game between the 2 sides, and here is a double change. I said it was going to happen. It's Kelly and Mead. Okay, at least one of the changes is for Ella Toon.
Yeah, had to be done. Ella Toon making way, and presumably then that will see Lauren James move into a central role.
I think James coming off as well.
And it will be Lauren James making way, so 3 wingers. Should be fun. I'm going to go to the right-hand side. Who is playing? It's
Hemp.
Lauren Hemp up front, Russo in the 10. Is that the change you'd have made at this stage of the game?
No.
Take off your recognised striker?
But again,
it's something different at the very least.
It is different. But Wiegman just won't deviate from that same set of 13, 14 players. It has to be Kelly and Mead that come on. Couldn't possibly be anyone else. You need midfield legs, so who do you bring on? 2 wingers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Corrales driving it forwards down the left-hand side and cleared away well by Ismail Morgan.
Yeah, good challenge in there from Morgan. Gets back in well, puts it out for a corner. Corrales, though, having a lot of joy, and what a game for her. I think defensively, she's actually done quite well. There's a couple of times where she looked to been beaten and got back in and made the challenge. And I mean, coming forwards, well, she's loving the space that she's got to just blast into.
Yeah, indeed. Spain now with this corner. Lopez, the one over it. Lifting it towards the back post. Leon heading across goal. Headed back onto goal. A big save from Hannah Hampton. Chiaro annoyed that she didn't add a 4th in this game for Spain.
Yeah, she'll be annoyed she looped it up a little bit too much and gave Hampton. It's a phenomenal save. But Chiaro be annoyed that she gave Hampton a chance. She just blasted this header into the near post. I mean, again, Matthew Leon is just allowed to run in at the far post completely uncontested and head the ball back across goal.
Yeah, England just all over the place at the moment. Here's Beth Mead. Fires it out to the right-hand side with Bronze, who launches it out of play.
That sums up her night. Has tried to play it over the top into Lauren Hemp, just cleared it.
Punted it out of play. Here is Leon. Looking for a forwards option. Caldente back to Leon. Through the lines to Amade. Caldente. And here's Corrales. Corrales back to Putellas. Here is Leon. Lopez back to Leon. Amade trying to poke it back. One in midfield now by Caldente, who lifts it through. Moy does enough, making the tackle wide now with Putellas. Until Lopez in the half space. Lovely give and go on the left-hand side. Putellas. Mead standing her up. Now Caldente back heel to Lopez in space in the box and firing wide at the near post.
Beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful from Spain. Moving the ball so nice in England, just cannot get near them.
Yeah, it's like a side playing on 2 times speed against a side on half speed.
Yeah.
England just look nowhere near them at the moment.
I mean, that is brilliant. The back heel from Chiaro into the path of Lopez is quality. And Lopez does the right thing, to be fair. Just looks to drill it in low and hard at the near post and gets it slightly wrong.
Spain players look fresh. They look like they're starting a season.
Yeah.
And England look like they've just finished 3. Greenwood into Stanway. Pass down the line now, looking for Lauren Hemp. Ball towards the back post. Corrales lets it go. Mead now trying to take on Corrales. Corrales makes the tackle. Mead, though, winning possession here is Bronze. Drilling it into the area. Headed on. And we'll run out for an England throw-in.
Better for England. A little bit better. Finding a bit of space in the wide areas and letting them make things happen. And, who knows? Get a goal now. Maybe it's game on.
Rousseau dropping deep. Doing well to work there in that deep position. And then plays a seemingly aimless pass through the lines. Katakoi able to collect it. I don't think England look particularly bothered, is the thing. I don't think England look asked at all out there.
And it's one of those where, at the end of the day, the playoffs should be absolutely fine.
I think that's exactly how they approach this game, and it's a bit of a flaw of the system, I guess. They'll trust they'll get through, but we're at the end of a season, the players just look knackered and not particularly bothered about winning this game.
Yeah.
Pass out to the left-hand side. On back by Battier.
And it's difficult because, as you say, I think that England will, of course, back themselves to get through the playoff system, and they should have no problems. But football's a funny game. You have a bad day in that playoff, and suddenly you could find yourselves bang in trouble. So England shouldn't have any problems, even if they aren't, to get through top of the group. But you just don't want to put yourself in that position.
Ball at the top, which Hemp gives chase to. Spain ready a change, looking to bring Claudia Pina into the game. Spain building up from the back now. Here's Leon.
I mean, what a lovely position to be in. You're 3-0 up against the reigning European champions on 65 minutes, and you're only just now bringing on Claudia Pina. With Aitana Bonmati sat on the bench behind her.
Yeah. Here's Leon. Back to Katakoi.
It might be how to stand like it's next 25 minutes.
Yeah. Ball over the top. Imade heads it down. One back now by Kelly, who turns, looks to come down the line, chops back, and loses out to Paraluelo. Not really sure he should turn backwards there, Chloe Kelly. Seemed to have got away from Paraluelo. Cut back to take her on again and lost the ball.
They seem to not. England haven't lacked confidence, but I think they've lacked. No one's backed themselves.
Yeah, there's no desire, there's no intensity, there's no urgency really about anything that England have done tonight.
Yeah. Lauren Hemp tried a couple times, to be fair, to get past Corrales, but apart from that, no one's tried to take anyone on or, try an audacious pass. Mainly because the 5-yard passes have been going wrong, so probably trying something audacious would be a bit ridiculous. Because, it hasn't been as sloppy in this second half, but to be honest, that's probably because England haven't touched the ball. You can't be sloppy in possession if Spain are knocking it around you.
Here is Leon. Through the lines into Lopez, who is toying now with Lucy Bronze. Lovely little roulette spin. Comes back to the edge of the box where Guiaro's unmarked. Well, she does close her down this time, and Guiaro punting it out of play.
Again, showing the effect that closing a player down has. Because Guiaro just tries to bend it around whilst there and gets it horribly wrong.
Yeah. Indeed. And that will be the last action of the game for Vicky Lopez, who has been excellent tonight. I think the most important player for Spain in attacking areas has just caused Lucy Bronze all sorts of issues tonight. Everything positive has come through Lopez. Everything has been started by Lopez. And we'll make way on 67 minutes for Claudia Pina.
Yeah, incredible from Lopez. Every time she touched the ball, she made something happen. An incredible talent and such a magical player already. And when she's in that kind of form, is a joy to watch.
Go to News says, we have Ukraine next. We cannot play like this against them. And we won't. And we should beat them very comfortably however we play, really. But I'm hoping we see some players given opportunities.
Yeah. You'd like to think, A, you'd make a bit of a point, and B, it'd be a bit of a dead rubber game at that point.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be annoyed if you went and drew it and Spain drew as well, but I just don't see any way that Spain don't beat Iceland. Especially when Iceland have nothing to play for. England might as well treat that as an opportunity to play some different players. It's June.
Yeah.
No one wants to be playing international friendlies in June. I think that's what we've seen from this England performance tonight.
Yeah. Be safe. I think there's quite a few players who should be given an opportunity. And it'd be good to see them in an England shirt. And I think, from Vegan, just make a bit of a point that, performances like these from the star players aren't good enough.
Corrales back to Pina. Now on carrying forwards, and now to Putellas. Caldente out towards the right-hand side. Paralluelo, Battier. Caldente. And now Patrick Gallaro poking it through the lines. Here's Paralluelo, charge it down, it's blocked. Now England looking to break away. Here is Bronze. One back well by Corrales. Gallaro. Pina loses out, and now Mead looking to launch it long. It'll run all the way through to Katakoi.
Say this is a big point made really by Spain. Last few meetings between these sides, no matter who they've gone to, have been ridiculously close. And I think this is a bit of a statement, really.
Yeah.
The meeting at Wembley earlier this year was a 1-0 win. The Euros final went to penalties. The World Cup final, again, a narrow 1-goal margin. The game in Euro 2021 went to extra time in the quarterfinals. But tonight, dominant from Spain from start to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Stanway turning away well. One back high by Spain. Battier into Paralluelo, who'll drive inside. And now Putellas. And Pina lets fly. And a good claim from Hannah Hampton. I pointed out in the live chat, Ireland in a great spot. They are beating Netherlands, though down to 10 players. 3-2 in that game. Leanne Kiernan has just been sent off, though. So, not ideal. Leanne Kiernan came off the bench on the 76th minute and has had 2 yellow cards and been dismissed.
It's even worse. I think that's worse than getting a straight red.
Not ideal.
As a substitute. But yeah, very encouraging for Ireland. Scotland, having a brilliant night as well. I believe they're 6-0 up now.
Yes, they were absolutely smashing Israel. And it was 6-0. Hat-trick from Caroline Weir, goal from Cuthbert as well, Davidson and Hansen as well. Kirsty Hansen involved 6-0 in that game. And hopefully they'll thrash Israel again when they play them in the week. England coming forwards. Here is Kelly. Blocked by Battier and now Caldente. Battier. Plays it across into Leon. And now Emade. Pina driving the ball forwards. Pass through the lines and it'll run through to Hannah Hampton. Oh, yeah, lots of thoughts on this game in the live chat. I feel like this is just the same as we have every year, right? Where England play Spain at Wembley, they play really well and they beat them, and then they go away to Spain and they lose. And it just feels like we have the same discourse every year of, England are awful, they've lost to Spain. It just feels like the same cycle. It's only qualifiers.
It was a Nations League, wasn't it? It was a Nations League where England won 2-1 at Wembley, and then despite taking the lead against the run of play away from home, Spain turned around and won that game and topped the Nations League group on head-to-head or on goal difference. So, yeah, these two just seem to trade blows, and then as well in the major tournaments, England knocked them out of Euro 21, Spain won the World Cup in 23, England beat them in the final of 25.
Yeah.
I'm sure both sides will be back in the World Cup next year and will probably meet at some point in the tournament.
It's very likely. Greenwood coming forwards, lifting it into the area, pushed away. Bronze trying to react, and it's blocked up in the air and headed on by Paredes. And Battier will stop it going for a corner, lashing it away. I mean, that's a bit of poor defending there from Spain, and England still couldn't capitalise.
Yeah, you know it's your night when your goalkeeper can spill it into the penalty area and no one turns it home.
Yeah. Indeed. Now Morgan. Lifted across by Hampton. Kelly. Stanway. Greenwood. Push backwards. Now here's Ruben Moy. Bronze. Morgan. Stanway. I can't help but feel this whole game where England have played, they passed down the line now looking for Greenwood to lift the ball into the box. They played on. They started the game with James on the left hand side to cut in, to push it inside to allow Greenwood to overlap, and still now, Greenwood is England's most attacking player.
Yeah.
I just don't see the upside of that, to be honest.
No.
I think it works a lot better when Hemp's on that side providing the width, and Bronze is able to have that more attacking role, and there's not as much responsibility on her.
Yeah.
Because Greenwood's tucking in.
That's over. Bronze was the one there trying to get the end of the cross. That you can't afford for both your two fullbacks to be your most advanced players, unless you're going to compensate for that. To be honest, I'm more astounded that we are hitting 75 minutes and England have only made 2 changes in a game where they've been completely outclassed.
None of them have been that back line.
No.
Here's Pina. Going to drive inside. Bronze there just sort of running past it.
Meanwhile, Bon Mati is on her way for Spain.
That's a very much, that's like a laugh of honour, isn't it? Just putting her on. Rub salt into the wounds. Puteas. Poor pass forwards, cut out by Greenwood. Yeah, English don't look bothered at all.
No.
That's I think the easiest way to talk about this game.
And to be honest, based on performances, I don't think that 3-0 is a horrendous result. The way the game's gone, only conceded 2 in the first half, and only conceded. To be honest, the fact that England only conceded 1 in the second half is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, it is. And then you look at some of the. I don't look at any chance that Spain had and said, "Well, they should have scored that." And I look at all the goals they have scored and gone, England should have dealt with it at some point. I think England have been nowhere near good enough in attacking areas, and Spain have been able to dominate a lot of the possession, been able to get into England's half a lot, but I don't think it's been as. I mean, a lot of people in the live chat coming in, I think mainly Spain fans, coming and saying, it should be 6-0, 7-0. I just don't think it's been that kind of game.
No.
Spain haven't been constantly having shots and Hampton's making loads of saves, or England are getting away with moments. Spain have taken full advantage of some big mistakes, and England have been incredibly poor in this game. But it's not been a game where they've, just allowed Spain to break into their box so often, or a massive tactical thing. England just look knackered, and nowhere near as up for it as Spain do.
Yeah, I think that kind of hypothetical, I don't think you ever really see it, work for Spain or Barcelona, because they're the type of sides where if it should be 6 or 7-0, it will be 6 or 7-0, especially with Barcelona.
Yeah, that Lionesses game was never a 4-0 game.
Exactly.
They scored every shot they took. I mean, I think they had 5 shots on target, 4 went in.
But you never sit there and go, they only scored 1 or 2, but they could have scored 7, because if they could have scored 7, they would score 7. And I think it's the same true with Spain. If it was a 6-0 game, Spain would have scored 6, because that's the quality they've got.
Mati into Pina in the half space, cuts back against Ruben Moy and dispatches, and it's 4-0 Spain in this game now. It's a great pass, Matana Bonmati through the lines, finds Pina between the players there, and Ruben Moy tries to stand her up. It's just too easy for Pina. Cuts inside and finishes it off.
Yeah, magical player, and although she's out of form, Claudia Pina against England or an English side seems to really come alive.
Yeah.
Was the impact sub in the game in that Nations League away game that we mentioned a moment ago. Obviously tore Chelsea apart in the Champions League last season, and again comes on here and gets a goal off the bench. Something about her playing on the left against Lucy Bronze, and she's had a really good game. But I mean, the pass from Bonmati is ridiculous into Pina, who does really well. Just take it round with Moy and find the bottom corner. Another really well taken goal from Spain. 2 substitutes combining, and in a commanding lead.
Yeah, I mean, that's the quality, isn't it? By the time Bonmati can pick out that kind of pass, it's just an obscenely good pass from Bonmati into Pina. I think Moy's got to do better again defensively there. Just lets Pina cut inside too easily. Finishes it off well.
That looked like a relegation team from England, by the way, that kick-off. Just Russo just rolls out of Hampton, everyone runs up, and Hampton smashes it in the corner.
Kelly now to Greenwood. Kelly. That's felt a bit like a side have just been relegated and just are playing out their last game.
Yeah.
It's very little care for England on the pitch tonight, evidently. I think the way they've played, it's been sloppy. It's been weak. It's embarrassing to lose a game 4-0, but it just doesn't look like one that England are that bothered about.
Yeah. If you're Kendall or Park, what are you thinking sat on that bench? You're thinking you've watched one of the worst,
Thank God it's not me. Thank God it's them looking terrible, not me.
Yeah.
And I'll play Ukraine, thank you very much.
So maybe they rub their hands in glee because they think they've got a shot now at starting the World Cup. But yeah, I mean, surely you'd have expected to come on by now.
Here is Mead. Can she squeeze the shot towards goal? No, she can't. Here is Leon. Looking to carry the ball away. Goes back though to Katakoi. Now lifting towards Pina with Moy jumping up well. Winning back possession. Walsh. Bronze. In an attacking area now, Lucy Bronze. Looks to take on Corrales. Loses possession to Leon, who smashes it away. Pina. Bronze is down now. And they sort of cap off what has been a pretty disastrous 80 minutes for Lucy Bronze. Offered very little. Defensively, the first time she's really got forward. Putting her body on the line here. Somewhat unnecessarily.
That's nice.
Seems to have done her in.
Has just took one to the ribs. And hopefully she's all right. But yeah, that felt like the worst time for her to give 110% to get to the ball. Well, she really didn't need to, and now she puts. I think she's just winded. Don't think it's anything more than that, which is good. But we'll take a moment. Just think, she's got wind knocked out of her. 9 minutes to go. This has felt like.
I hope that Ukraine game's a rotated side. There's absolutely no point now in playing a full strength side. I get that there's still a chance they could top the group, whatever. It's not going to happen. Spain are going to beat Iceland.
Yeah.
Might as well just play some different players, give them opportunities, get some international minutes in the belt. If we watch Lucy Bronze play another 90 minutes, I just don't see the value in that. Even if we're going to play the full strength, I don't play Lucy Bronze again.
Oh no, it'll be Letitia at right back, and then the same centre half pairing that started tonight.
I don't mind that.
Might get to see Neve Charles, maybe. Probably not. But also, it's a bit of a free hit. So rather than give players like Godfrey a 20-minute cameo at the end, why don't you just give her the first 60 minutes? Freya Godfrey is good enough to start against Ukraine.
Yeah.
Why she's in the England squad? So just do it.
I think a lot of players like that just need the minutes. And there's a lot of players in the England side who Serena doesn't trust or can rely on yet because they haven't played at all really for England.
Yeah.
Gonzalez, ball across the box, easy claim for Hampton. But you look at Blinker Brown, I think 6 international appearances. Look at Lucia Kendall, she's made 6 as well for England. I don't think Freya Godfrey's made a senior appearance yet, has she? No, still yet to make her debut. So you've got a lot of players there who could be important at Euro 27, World Cup 27, who have barely played yet in an England shirt, or haven't even yet played in an England shirt. So I think those kind of players have to be starting Ukraine. If not, what is the point? Because we've got two friendlies or three friendlies in November. Is it a Type 2 international break? I feel like it may be in October, November.
Hooray.
We've then got friendlies in, or we'll have qualifiers now, obviously,
Yeah.
in October, November. We've then got friendlies in March and ahead of the tournament in April. I think it's Nations League, actually, March, April and June.
Everyone's favourite.
Disaster of a decision, really. That should be friendlies. But, yeah.
Maybe they just didn't want to play national friendlies in autumn.
Well, this is the odd thing, is that they've created a situation now with the Nations League where when do you play your young players? When do you give them those opportunities?
Yeah.
Because there's no friendlies anymore. In the women's game, we don't even have international friendlies before major tournaments.
Yeah.
They've replaced them with Nations League games.
And I don't know one soul who loves the Nations League.
No. but because you want to go, you want to try your best. England are playing their strongest team in every game.
Yeah. We are getting England changes, and I believe that is Charles, and is that Charles and Carter?
Yeah,
No.
I mean, It's good to see two players we've never seen in an England shirt before. Definitely not. Nice to see them getting those minutes, getting those opportunities. Change for Spain. It's Clara Serrayori.
But also, what's the point of making defensive changes now? We're 4-0 down. You might as well throw Freya Godfrey on there and give her a run out. It said Jess Carter's get 6 minutes, and Neve Charles is coming at right back anyway.
Mamo says we won both the Nations League. Yeah, again, the only team that cares about the Nations League is the team that wins it. It's that kind of competition.
Yeah, if England won it, lovely.
They're the best trophy around.
Yeah,
but no one cares about the Nations League.
If Spain go a year without winning it, and it goes, I don't know, someone else takes it, you care about it a lot less. Like, it's. I think everyone would rather have, I'd rather have. I mean, I know it's the whole point. You want to see competitive games, but I'd rather if non-competitive games, you could give sides time, chance to mix it around and make changes.
Yeah. Shannon says Carter should have come on at half time for Ruben Moy. This is way too late. Yeah, I think if you're going to make that change, it has to be earlier.
Yeah.
It's absolutely no point now. It's 4-0. It's not going to change anything. Apart from Jess Carter, it's just ran 40 yards to win the ball off Pina.
Comeback's on.
Lovely pass into Mead. Back now into Charles. Charles, the right back's good to see. And I hope we see more of that.
Yeah.
Because she is right-footed. It's a mystery as to why she's been played at left back.
her whole career.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also, if Wiegman does use Charles the right back, it opens the door to bring Laetitia in to play centre half, which I think everybody and their nan wants to see happen.
Yeah, I think we also need Ella Morris to have an incredible season at Tottenham.
Yes.
I think she has to take the league by storm.
Yeah.
I think she has to play every game. Sorry to Hannah Veek and any Swedes watching, but I didn't play a minute in the apart from the couple of games for the World Cup, so Ella Morris is fit. She has to have an incredible season.
Goal contribution every game.
Because there's basically no other English right backs around. Either her or Aria Dennis. Outside of that, I don't think it's even. I don't think we're anyone that we're waiting for. Paoluelo darting inside. And Leon here with a bit of space from range gives it to Pina in the pocket. Pina wide into Carmona. Back to Leon. Pass through the lines. Into Pina, plays it forwards. Bonmati takes aim. Comfortable save for Hampton.
Again, really good football from Spain. Just moving it through England. I'm glad this was the first game in the international break. Because at least this isn't what we're ending on in going into the summer. We'll get the Ukraine game, which England should, England hopefully end on a win. Because no one wants to end a season of football losing 4-0 to Spain.
Shao says possibly Anouk Denton at right back too. Yeah, I don't see it personally from what we've watched so far.
I haven't really followed how she's got on.
Yeah, gone to America. By FC, I think she's at. I don't see her being England's starting quality, but you never know. Ball in towards the area there, Hampton. Leaving it, letting it run there at the back post.
Let's say Pina there trying to score from corner now. Not a bad attempt, actually.
Not a million miles away at all, no. Here's Charles back to Carter. Carter just sending it long. Tries to get there. One back well by Spain. Guiaro handling the ball. That's been given as a Spain throw, though, in the end.
That's lucky. Not sure you can just pick the ball up and decide, yeah, that's my throw. And throw it. But, yeah.
Spain now with a free kick.
If I see this board go up for 6 added minutes, I might walk out. Hopefully common sense prevails.
Yeah, not much point to making this game last any longer. I'm loving very sweeping remarks in the live chat, so this isn't a game at the end of a domestic season, a game in June. It's instead the end of the English national team. It is the complete fall off, and the side has faded into obscurity. It's one game. England have won every other group game. This has been a poor performance and a bad result, but it's one game of football.
But it flops every time the result happens. England beat Spain at Wembley, and suddenly England are going to win the next World Cup.
No, because then they were lucky. This is how it works.
Oh, yeah,
then they were lucky.
Yeah.
Now they're terrible.
I forget.
It's just how it works.
That's it.
Charles.
Exactly that.
Carter now looking to hit it in behind. The ball will run through into Katakoi.
To be fair, those 2 Euros, they were luck, obviously.
Yeah, very, very lucky. Here is Leon. Playing down the left-hand side. Bonmati. Back to Mappy Leon. Down the line into Claudia Pina. Pina now lovely outside of the boot pass. Cut out by Carter. Lovely around the corner from Pina into Carmona. Guiaro, and there will be 3 minutes of additional time at the end of this game.
That's about right. You know, if it was closer, with the stoppages and the goals probably would have been 5 or 6. It's a bit of common sense there from the officials.
And Charles there seeing it out well. Olga Carmona committing the foul for good measure too. It wouldn't be an Olga Carmona game without her committing a foul. She's been on the pitch for 6 minutes. Hampton out to the left-hand side. And Morgan into Greenwood. Back to Hannah Hampton. Carter. Charles. Back to Carter. Who tries to clip it up the line, but it's out for a Spain throw. Carmona. Bonmati back to Olga Carmona. And back. All the way to Katakoi. Paredes. Into Bonmati, back to Mappy Leon. Now Carmona. Great pressure from Niamh Charles. The pass forwards there, just cut out. Carmona losing out to Mead. Mead passes it back to her. It is a mystery that Beth Mead is still in this England squad, I have to say. Morgan. Now, Hannah Hampton. Knocks out to the left-hand side. Greenwood. Stanway, now Carter. Back to Georgia Stanway, lovely turn. Greenwood, who I think's offside again there.
So far.
Every time tonight.
No, it's not even like a couple yards. It's miles offside again. Such a frustrating night for England.
Yeah. Here's Leon. For Christ's sake, says James had a small injury from Wild Evans. Yeah, I think that's why she didn't play in the final. But again, I hope Lauren James doesn't start or play a minute against Ukraine. It's a pointless game. Charles launches forwards, and that is full time here in Mallorca. Spain 4, England 0 in this game. England with I think subpar is putting it kindly. A pretty embarrassing performance tonight. Spain took full advantage. England failed to capitalise on their opportunity to qualify for the Women's World Cup, and it now looks very likely that barring Spain capitulating against Iceland, England will have to go through the playoffs.
Yeah, Lionesses like making it hard for themselves, but they'll be hoping to come through that without a bother. But tonight, second best, easily second best, and well beaten by a strong Spain side who looked good, looked really good. Some very well taken goals and some lovely football. And once they got going, England just couldn't stop them. And big game coming against Ukraine for England. They want to get a few goals in that one and end the international break and end the season on a high. But a very disappointing night. And as you say, it is now a massive advantage to Spain going into the last match week. And England just making things more difficult for themselves. They did the hard part, won the first, won 4 out of 4 in the qualification group, but just couldn't avoid defeat tonight to confirm their place.
Yeah, England don't look like they want to play international games in June after a long season. I don't think any team wants to. And I hope that is something that is revisited when we look back at the next round of qualifiers for any tournament.
Yeah.
I think the whole women's football calendar in terms of international games looks abysmal. We've already seen it announced for next year. But England will probably go through the playoffs now, which will likely come in October, November. It's also going to make it difficult for them to fit in the Finalissima, which they still haven't much to do with Brazil. So that will be interesting to see if they can ever actually fit that game in at this point. But there may well be a slot. There won't be a slot at the early part of next year. So good luck to whoever's got to organise that one. I'm glad it's not me. There we go.
They were sat there watching this game and they've just gone, oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's going to make it so much more difficult for whoever's a fixture secretary for the English FA. That is a tough gig now fitting in that Brazil game. Anyway, we'll be back on Tuesday to watch England-Ukraine. Hopefully a very different looking England side. It would be nice to see some different players given opportunities, and hopefully a couple of players that played a lot of football this season given the opportunity to rest. Well, so I was saying still have to beat Ukraine first to get to a possible playoff, guys. This is a bad result. Just not true. Will be a playoff regardless now for England. So at least if you're going to try and dig, at least get it right. England are confirmed the playoffs, 6 points ahead of Iceland. Even if they lost 100-0 to Ukraine, they would be in the playoffs regardless of result. But will be interesting how that game goes. Anyway, we're back on Tuesday to watch that one. Hopefully, as I say, very different looking England side. In the meantime, go and check out the videos that we put out this week. We've been wrapping up the WSL. We had our team of the season go out today, and we ranked every WSL side on Wednesday. So if you found the WSL, go ahead and check those out. Other than that, we're back on Tuesday. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. We'll be right back.